All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started in the interest of valuing everyone's time. So again, my name is Ben, and I'm a program manager at States for International Exchange Programs. I think for most people at this point, you guys know who we are. We're an international exchange organization who works through the 4-H network in the US to implement international exchange programs, including the year-long Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange and Study Program, which is abbreviated as YES. And actually, last year was our very first year working with the YES program, which was really exciting. The YES program is a public diplomacy initiative that's funded by the US Department of State. It seeks to engage young people from across the world, from predominantly countries that have significant Muslim populations. And it invites them to study in the US on a scholarship program for an entire school year. And we had 20 YES students from 13 different countries last year, which was very exciting. And one of our first students was Tushil, who's joined us today from Gandhinagar, India. I believe it is maybe close to 11 p.m. in India right now. Is that right, Tushil?
Yes, it is 10:30 in India.
So I really appreciate Tushil. We really appreciate Tushil taking some time on a weekday so late to join us and share a little bit about his exchange year. Tushil was unfortunately one of actually all of our students were asked to return home early due to the coronavirus pandemic, and Tushil's journey home was a particularly adventurous one. So we are really grateful that he could be here and again is lending us his time so late in the evening in India, and I'll let Tushil take it away from here.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ban, for such a wonderful introduction. And hello, everyone. Sorry, I can't see you all, guys. So this is my presentation. I'm gonna share about my exchange year, how was my journey, and I will provide some guidance to the future exchange students also. So when I was 7,489.5 miles away from my home, I started my journey. And then that was my first international flight. And when I flew from there to India, to USA, it was really very exciting. But when I landed in the USA, it was literally very exhausting. I couldn't really imagine that jet lag and the headache I had at that point. But it was great because I had my friends also from my exchange program. And yes, spoiler alert for future exchange students. Remember, when you are going to be in different country, you're gonna meet different exchange students also. And some of them are going to be your best friends for your whole life. So be ready for that. So yeah, these three are the most important part of my exchange year: my school, my family number one, and my family number two. These three, I can never forget this part of my exchange year. My school diary. Whatever I say about my school is literally very less. It is inevitable for me. I remember when I was in the first day, when I had my first day in the school, I was like, oh, where am I? I don't want to be here. This school is miserable. And then slowly and gradually, I became the most popular kid in the school. And it was great. The adventure was really exciting. I really got to do so many things. I got to make so many friends, and then I did so many volunteering activities also. And I got to make my film also, which was only half recorded because of the COVID-19. But it was great because I got to make so many friends. And I also got to meet Bahamian ambassador. And it was a great experience for me. Because of my computer class, actually we donated 50 laptops to Bahamian students who were affected by the Hurricane Dorian. And it was a great opportunity that we donated the laptops, and then we got to meet Bahamian ambassador. So it was wonderful for me. And then, yes, most important part, IEW, International Education Week, where I did so many presentations. And through the presentations, I really made so many friends. And that really uh, helped me to lose my public fear. And it worked out really great. And then at the last, I also got the opportunity to do TED Talk in my school. So I did the TED Talk about how to use time creatively. And that turned out really great because in that TED Talk, I explained that how to use time when you are free at home. And after a week of that TED Talk, my school closed for the whole year. So I was all by myself at home. So I applied some tricks on myself also. And this is after my school closed. Uh, yes, it was a little bit hard on me when they said the schools are going to be closed for the rest of the year because I had so many things in planned. I was so excited to do my prom. I was excited to make my film and so many other things. But yes, it was hard for me to accept that I'm not going to school anymore. But after that, when I got busy with my host family, I really became flexible. I really got a great support of my host family. They supported me at every point. They taught me so many different skills also. I learned how to cook so many dishes. Actually, I learned how to cook Indian food also after coming to United States because here I am the only one child of my parents, so they always like pamper me, and I'm like a spoiled kid. So when I got to USA, my host family, my especially my host mom, she is a really good cook, and because of her also I learned so many dishes. So thanks to her. And after that, when my family changed, my another family was also really great, and they supported me a lot. We played so many games together. We did cycling. We went to beach. It turned out really great. And this is this is abstract. This explains so many things. Actually, I put this slide for the future exchange students to give them a message that how the exchange year is. Like when we start our exchange year, we don't know how it is gonna be, how much course it gonna take, and how it is going to be end up with, and how many skills we going to be get. It is, if I say, then it is not like we expect. It is really very different than we actually expect. But at the end, we are. I I promise you that at the end we are going to have so many different skills, and it is going to be turn out really great. And yes, thank you to States for Edge for hosting me, and thanks to the United States and Yes program and everyone. I think that's it.
Tushil, thank you so much for sharing a snapshot of your exchange year. Um, have a number of questions for you, and I would encourage anyone else as well, if you have questions for Tushil, to go ahead and put those in the chat box, and we'll tackle those one by one. So Tushil, I wonder if you can give us a little bit of an idea about, so first, how you learned about the YES program in Gandhinagar.
Well, my school where I'm studying right now, that is a part of the exchange Yes program. They are hosting kids also, and they are sending kids also to the different countries. Like every year they organize exams for students to participate and then get a chance to go to United States from Yes program. And my school is also the part of AFS India, and that's where I found the about the Yes program.
And Tushil, you have this really great story about how you almost missed the application deadline. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, sure, I would love to. Yeah, so actually, I had my hand fracture when they announced that there is a exchange program going to be, and we are going to be having an opportunity to go to United States. And at that point, I had a hand fracture for 3 months. And when I get back to school, I found that all the forms are gone and there are no extra forms. So I was terrified. I was like, I really want to participate in this program. I don't want to miss this wonderful opportunity. And then I talked with my teacher, and she also denied me, like, you are too late, and it is not going to be possible anymore. But at the end, there was one boy just showed up, and he was like, I'm not going to participate, and I have an extra form. So would you like to have it? I was like, great. That's that's really incredible. That's unbelievable. So that's how I got to form. And then after that also, uh, I was the last one. Actually, not me only, but there were 4 kids only who left out, and we were the last one to come here. Uh, Actually, to come here, there were like 3 batches: batch one, batch two, and batch three. And we had the least chances to come to the United States because we were like delayed.
Yeah, I think one thing that's really interesting about Tushil's story is that it shows that these um, life-changing experiences can really happen through such kind of small individual circumstances, which I think is so interesting. So he almost missed the application deadline, but was able to get an extra form, and that allowed him to have this life-changing experience. And Chishio, one of the things that's always really great to hear about from students is um, the moment when they found out they were going to be a yes student, and then what went through their head at that time. So for you, when you found out you were going to be a yes finalist, kind of, can you talk with us about that moment and how you felt?
Well, I was astonished because when I found that it was a 2nd April when I got my final result. And on that day, on the early morning, I called to my all friends and said them that I am not going to be. I was rejected from the yes program, so I am not anymore going to the USA. And I didn't know at that time that I was selected. So I was just making them April Fool. And on that day only, at the evening when I checked my mail, it was like, congratulations to Shills, you are going to be the recipient of the YES program. I was completely astonished by that.
And so let's fast forward now to after you've taken your first ever international flight, and you're in Virginia, you're in Hughesville, and you're starting school. You said something interesting during your presentation about, your first day of school. You felt like it wasn't somewhere you wanted to be, but then by the end, or I guess after a few weeks, you felt comfortable there. Can you talk a little bit about that process of kind of overcoming the discomfort you first felt when you started school?
Yes, actually, my expectation was when the different exchange students come to our school in Gandhinagar at my home country. So everyone from our school were like so welcome to them and were like, yeah, inviting them to parties and all. So I was expecting the same. But when I got to my host school, I was like completely unnoticed. And I was like, where am I? I I don't know how to make friends. I don't know what to do now. This wasn't I expected because I selected all the classes I liked, and then I was actually 1 week late also in the school. So I really missed the chance to make the friends at the first moment of the school starts. But after that, all slowly and gradually, I started participating in all the clubs and all the different activities and sports, and that really helped me to make friends. And eventually, I became the most popular kid in the school.
And so, Tushil, if you had some advice for exchange students who maybe during their first few days overseas, when they're experiencing some culture shock and some homesickness, if you had some advice for them to to come through that difficult time, what would it be?
Well, my main advice would be to keep yourself busy, because the more you keep yourself busy, you don't really become the homesick, and you also get to know different people also, and get opportunity to get different skills, and make different friends. So I would suggest to participate in kinds of clubs and sports you are interested in, and yes, always be keep yourself busy.
And one of the ways Tushil kept himself extremely busy during his exchange year was by sharing his culture. So, out of all of our exchange students, nearly 50 of them across the country, Tushil did the most presentations for International Education Week to quite a few people, almost 300 people. So, Tushil, can you talk a little bit about the decisions you made in terms of International Education Week and how you wanted to share your culture with others and what you felt was important for others to know about India?
Well, when I heard about this International Education Week, I literally got really excited for that, because it's a wonderful opportunity, to share presentations about your country to with different kids, different countries' friends, and because of that, I just wanted them to know the how how many festivals we have, and how intense is our culture. So I tried to show that how much diverse is India, and then tried to be on the explain how the India is become, it has so many festivals, so many religions in it, and that my host parents also helped me to make presentations, and even my school teachers helped me to how to make the presentations. And then the only thing I needed was the confidence, and I think the students really liked my all my presentations.
Yeah, one of the cool things Tushil did during International Education Week was teaching a yoga class, right, Tushil?
Yeah. That turned out great, because after I did for the first time, my JROTC coach, he asked me to do uh, teach yoga for like rest of the year, and that turned out really great for me.
Yeah, not very many of our students actually become teachers as a result of International Education Week, so that's
Yeah,
pretty
it
cool.
was really very unexpected for me.
And so staying on the topic of culture, was there anything about American culture that surprised you? Anything that maybe was different from what you expected?
um, there were s- I'm not really sure what surprised me, because I was kind of like really aware about it. I'm not really sure what really surprised me, except hamburger.
What about hamburgers surprised you?
Yeah, actually the food, the people not eating chapatis. I actually knew that the people don't really eat chapatis or tortillas outside of the India, but I wasn't really aware that what do they. I was like very surprised what do they eat in America, and when I got there, it was like so much of meat, and it was surprising that in USA they eat a lots of food from other countries instead of being the food in from United States. So it really surprised me.
Yeah, our exchange students always talk about how surprised they are by how big our food is. What about Indian culture, Tashil? Did you learn anything about your own country or your own culture by being away from it for almost a year?
Yes, very true. It really helped me to learn that how diverse is my country, and then there are so many different religions in India, and how they are all are like living along to each other, and then celebrating all the different festivals together. And that when I was explaining that in my presentations, I was kind of realizing that how lucky I am to be from India.
Can you talk more about that and kind of how you realized that you were so lucky to be from India? I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, sure. When I was doing the presentations, I was telling that how some of the ancient maths from India came and then became the famous in the whole world, like how the discovery of, the invention of pi came from India, from the old ancient books, and how the invention of zero became. So that really surprises me that how the ancient literature of India helped in a lot in science, in the field of science and maths to the whole world, the contribution of India. And that really surprised me. And that really makes me feel proud.
That's great. And so now, Tushil, you've had this exchange year, and it definitely was unique in terms of what it looked like, especially the second half. But how do you think that this experience will shape your future? And how do you think that the YES program and being a participant in the YES program may help you in some of the things that you are pursuing in the future?
Well, yes program really helped me to become flexible. Uh, Now I can travel anywhere in the world without any fear. And that really helped me to improve my English also, my language skills, and then helped me to clear some stereotypes also. Like before coming to USA, I was thinking that all the people in USA just eat meat, and that was stereotypical. But when I get there, I realize it is not the real thing. That not everyone can eat, not everyone is eating meat.
Yeah, I believe was your host mother a vegetarian? Am I remembering that right?
Well, my whole host family was vegetarian.
Right, right. I want to make sure that other folks get a chance to ask questions as well. So again, if you guys have questions for Tushil, feel free to unmute yourself or also to just put questions in the chat box. We'll pause here in case folks have any questions they want to ask.
Yeah, I have a question. Hi, Tushil. This is Max Burnham, also a colleague of Ben's, and thank you again so much for the presentation. I really appreciate you kind of sharing your perspective and your story on this last year. I guess my specific question for you, Tushil, is when you're thinking for future cohorts of students who participate in the YES program, how do you feel that host families could best support international students like yourself in the future? Like, are there ways that you feel like they could better support you in the future, or just different things that would work?
Well, yes, actually, if we spread the more awareness about how does the years program works and what's the main purpose of the years program, uh, so that would be really very helpful for finding the families, because I really had one experience with one family with whom I lived for 2 days. I spent just 2 nights, and they said that they are hosting the kids from YES programs since like 3 or 5 years. So I was like, I asked them like, why are you hosting like every year from the same program? What really makes you to host them? And her answer was like, we really like the purpose of the program to build to ca- uh, to really clear the stereotypes of one religion and to support another religion. That's really very intense, and that's really very supportive to do. So that's how I feel like spreading more awareness about the program could really help, and spreading awareness in really very interesting ways. uh, I don't know, like doing presentations or podcasts or alumni. Yeah, alumni would help them.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Tushil, that's exactly why we wanted to talk to you today. So thank you so much again. Mary Kay, did you have a question? I saw you unmuted yourself.
Yes. Hi, Tushil. I was an exchange student in India long before you were born, and so I always pay attention when I'm around anyone who has experience with India. But my question that relates to the one that Max just asked, what kinds of help did you get from your host family in getting acquainted at school, in joining volunteer activities and getting presentations? And did they help you get volunteer experiences? And if so, how?
Yes, my host family was really very supportive. They were involved in one community theater nearby us where they took me for the volunteering, and I did a lighting there in one drama, one play, and that really helped me to learn how does the play work and how to do lighting. And I also got the volunteering hours because of it. So thanks to my host family. And other than that, in International Education Week also, my host father has a really good presentation skills, so he helped me how to do what slides how to arrange the slides, and how to make it more comfortable for everyone and more interesting. So that really helped me. And other than that, cooking was really most important part of our my relationship with my host family. So my host mom cooked, taught me so many other dishes, like how to cook, how to bake. She taught me lots of baking. And then my host dad also, actually my host dad taught me how to cook Indian food. So that was really surprising.
That's great. Thanks for sharing, Sushil. Are there any other questions out there?
And
again,
I'll come back with
yes.
another one. Had a question for Tushil about his maturity and how he thinks he's changed personally as a result of participating in the exchange. Not so much about what you learned, but how do you feel and think differently?
Well, I feel like more confident and more strong. And the most important thing I feel is now I have broad thinking. I can see different perspectives. I can understand people's different views, and that's what makes me more flexible also. So that really helped me to improve my behavior also, the way of my talking with my natural family now, because when I arrived here, I was as now I am like using more words like thank you, sorry, and like always being appreciating different others' work, others' help, and always being helpful to my parents. As I said before, I was a spoiled kid. I wasn't even went to kitchen for once, and now actually tonight also I cooked Indian food for my parents. So it taught me how to respect and appreciate others' effort for me. So it really being really very helpful for me.
Thank you, Tushil. And Mary Kay, thank you for that question. That was going to be my next question for Tushil, and I think that is a great place for us to end with you sharing about that personal transformation. So again, Tushil, on behalf of States 4-H, we want to thank you so much for taking the time so late in the evening to share about your exchange year, and to do so articulately. You are a very well-spoken person and a great presenter. So many congratulations on a wonderful exchange year. We're so happy that you made it home safely. And thank you again so much for joining us and sharing about your exchange year tonight.
Well, thanks to you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, folks. So we're going to leave it there, and I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this installment of our summer speaker series. We're going to have another speaker in 2 weeks' time. Daria from Poland is going to join us and share about her experience as a Flex student a couple of years ago now. So please join us for that one. Keep an eye out on our social media for information about that webinar. And yeah, we hope to see you guys again in the future. So thank you again, everyone, for joining, and have a really good rest of your week.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Okay.